Hi, this is Keith Bryant from Global SMT and Packaging at THECA 2025 in Thailand. And I'm here with Casey, who is Technical VP of KCE. So, first easy question, sir. How long have you been there? And where did you start and what are you doing now?
Okay, I've been working for KCE since 2001. So I have 24 years here in Thailand. Prior to that, I worked for a merchant board shop in the US named Hadco. And before that, I worked for a captive board shop in Canada because I'm a Canadian for 9 years. So I've lived a long life in printed circuit boards.
Yeah. So when you came here, the industry must have been a little bit different than it is now.
Oh, it's a tremendous difference. In those days, it was a lower layer count, very simple boards. The technology was, I would call simple because I came from the US where we building the internet technology. But in the last 24 years, the PCB industry here in Thailand has just grown and developed, and innovation is incredible.
So what sort of technologies and layers are you building now?
Well, we don't pick and choose the technology. We have to cover everything. Our primary market that we support is automotive, but we also supply printed circuit boards for industrial, telecommunications, 5G, and some consumer products. So it's a wide range from very simple 2 and 4 layers all the way up to 18 to 24 layers. The main focus in the last 10 years has been high density interconnect, HDI, so using lasers to ablate the micro via blind holes instead of mechanically drill through holes, using special materials with low loss properties for high speed, high frequency applications. And because we're primarily an automotive PCB supplier, we've just grown in leaps and bounds because of the ADAS, assisted driving, and moving towards autonomous driving, as well as electric vehicles. So on that side, we're doing a lot of heavier copper for battery management and for onboard chargers. So we supply a wide gamut of different types of printed circuit boards.
Yeah. I guess also, as well as the heavy copper because of the power, you're having to look at thermal management things as well, where you're looking at heavy copper on outer layers and the ability to move heat through away from boards to keep everything at a more reasonable temperature as well.
Absolutely. It's not just the copper, heavy copper, but also using thermal dissipative inks, also using special copper coins that we embed in the circuit board so that some components that produce a lot of heat is not good for a printed circuit board's reliability. So customers look for KCE to provide solutions to remove and dissipate that heat, keep the function of the circuit board.
So you think one of the big changes is also you're now working more closely with your customers rather than traditionally where they just threw a design over the wall and said, build this for us?
Oh, absolutely. Most of our customers, we have very long history, very good relationships over 10 or 20 years because they come to depend on our quality and reliability. So what we do is we work with them up front in the beginning, so we make it right the first time. So we might provide some design for manufacturability, even design for assembly feedback to them so that they can not only make it easier to assemble, but also make the finished product cost effective.
Yep, that's the way the industry has to go now as things get more and more complex and lead times become shorter and demands become much, much bigger. So can I ask, is your customer base throughout Asia or Thailand or where?
We're a global PCB supplier. 50% is we supply to Europe. It began in the western part of Europe, but now a lot of those customers have operations in Eastern Europe for cost reasons. We also provide about 25% to North America, and then the remainder would be here in Asia.
That's a pretty good split.
Yeah, we've been in operation since 1983.
Yeah.
And so way back when electronic assembly was primarily in the West.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's great to see. And some of the people that I talk to are having to struggle a little bit to find workforce as their businesses grow. You know, it's hard to like feed the machine. Are you guys managing to get your own like young engineers and doing your own training and this kind of stuff?
Well, I think the education system here in Thailand produces a lot of good engineers with critical thinking and the skills that can be used in our industry. But the actual printed circuit board process, they're very young in that knowledge. So we do a lot of training process as well as using different methods and technologies to produce the circuit board.
I mean, I know that when producing a circuit board, with respect, it's not electronics. It's mechanical CNC drilling. You've got plating, you've got etching, you've got bonding, you've got a whole load of chemistries that you need to control. It's a really, really complex process.
Of course, there's about 15 key processes, but each process then consists of multiple sub-process steps. So I did an analysis of a typical HDI multi-layer board. There's over 65 different discrete steps involved, and they are chemical, optical. But we've made a lot of investments over the last few years. We spent over 100 million USD in just the last 2 years to start producing printed circuit boards using new methods to help the productivity, improve the quality. Things like instead of using photo tools, we're now using lasers for imaging the circuit.
So effectively you're direct imaging now.
Laser LDI, yes. At the same time, we're also using lasers now to drill the microvias instead of mechanically drilling all the way through.
I mean, the size of some of these microvias now, people are talking microns. It becomes absolutely, in my eyes, absolutely crazy.
Yes, we can laser drill down to a 75 micron diameter and as deep as 150 to 200 microns.
Yes. Yeah. So you've got a much higher aspect ratio than traditional boards have been also.
Yes, for plated through holes, the aspect ratio as customers' designs shrink their diameter of their through holes
and
make smaller and smaller, and then with multiple layers increasing the thickness, our aspect ratios have gone above 10 to 1. With the blind vias, we're right at about 1 to 1, 1.2 to 1. Yeah. So it's a challenge. But on top of that, the micro vias, we no longer use a conformal coating because designers are stacking the micro vias. So we have to do a copper fill where we're actually suppressing on the surface and filling the micro via.
Yeah. Okay. So
with copper.
Right. So for anybody watching who's maybe not a PCB expert, this means that you build one layer with a via and you have to put another layer with a via and another layer with a via. So it's not just one pressing process.
Right. We've had some designs where we do 6 times lamination and 5 times drilling because we'll even have the mechanical drilled holes buried inside. So it's very complex.
And for anybody who's unsure, when we talk about microns, 75 microns is about the diameter of a human hair, or about the thickness of a human hair, I should say.
Yes.
So you get some idea of the challenges that these guys are having to go through.
When I started in PCBs 42 years ago, 400 microns, or 0.4 millimeter, was considered
really small.
Yeah, was considered. Now it's like so simple to do.
All right, Tracy. Well, thank you for coming in and sharing your knowledge and experience with us. And it's great to talk PCBs, and it's great to hear about KCE and to see that Thailand is really at the forefront of the technology for circuit board manufacturing.
Thank you, Keith. It was a pleasure to talk with you.
No problem. And that's Keith Bryant for Global SMT and Packaging, signing off.